Welcome to Shamba Shape Up.
We have traveled all over East Africa to find hard-working farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need,
so they can adapt and make their farms more productive even while the climate changes.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We meet families and enter their kitchens to explore how to cook in cleaner, faster, cheaper ways, while at the same time increasing family nutrition.
We will see how farmers from across the region can benefit from our experts' advice,
while also learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experience as they shape up their shambas
on the Shamba Shape Up Safari. Welcome to Shamba Shape Up.
We are here in Rongai and we are about to meet our farmer called Steve.
And our expert called Steve.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You must be our expert, Steve.
Yes.
And we are coming here to see our farmer called Steve.
I am Steve.
Yes. You are the expert called Steve and the farmer called
Steve.
Yes.
Doesn't that confuse you?
Not at all.
Okay. Let's get inside and start working. Today we are in Oloosirkon in Rongai, and we are meeting with Stephen Ole Suntai, our farmer expert who is a vet working with CKL Africa.
Steve takes care of the 185 acres of his family land, and true to Maasai tradition, he loves cows.
Initially, Stephen, the only one in his family to attend university, wanted to become a teacher. But it didn't take him long to understand where his true calling lay.
I sat down and saw that I don't suit to be a teacher. So the next option was to be a vet. I had a passion of keeping the animals. I grew in a family that has animals, not just animals, but many animals. The only thing I went to do in a vet class was maybe just to get the knowledge of the different type of the diseases we have, how we differentiate them. But all the other knowledge about an animal I had because I grew with the animals. So to me it was an added advantage, and it has never become any conflict whatsoever.
So let's first set up our tent on this beautiful boma and find out more about Steve.
The Suntai's family's shamba neighbors in Nairobi National Park, and Steve's father has kept his 185 acres of land intact and can practice in true Maasai fashion free-range cattle breeding. The family mainly keep their cow for beef. Age-old know-how or scientific knowledge, Stephen combines all to keep the cows happy and healthy.
These are the mixture of Boran and Saiwan. And the two breeds are very hostile. When you take their calves away, the animal will turn to be hostile. And from that time, it will not give you any milk. So the best way we normally do it is to milk the animals with the calf.
The traditional way.
The traditional way.
So how has culture, traditional culture affected free ranging?
Maasais believe that you are not a man if you don't have an animal. Even if you study and get a PhD,
yes,
nobody will recognize you if you don't have a cow. So this is a very essential animal in the community. When we were kids, it was barely for you to see any home around here. But right now, the population is going so high and very fast. Secondly, so many people here sold their land, and now the owners are coming. That means free range is in danger. Whether we like it or no, there is a time that is coming that these lands will not be enough for free range. We only have two options left with us. It's either we come back to do the dairy animal, which doesn't require a lot of space, or we do a feedlot.
Now with climate change, there's this effects of drought. And sometimes we witness it. We see on the news the cows are emaciated in most of these, dry regions.
Yes.
How would you recommend farmers take care of them?
We need to be prepared because the drought is there and it will always be there. However much it rains, There's sometimes it rains until you think that the drought will never be here again. And we have that weakness of forgetting that everything is for a season. So I want to encourage the farmers that are doing the free range that first we need to do paddocking. This paddocking will help us to have hay, because the small food that animals will eat, there is no waste of energy when the animals roaming, looking, and there is nothing to eat. Secondly, we need to know the type of products we need to give our animals when the drought comes. When I have enough pasture, the only thing I give my cows is Maklik beef. Maklik beef will give my animals fast weight gain, 2, faster growth, and 3, it will give my animals the real color of an animal. So if an animal is black, it's black. We give them at libitum, so they licked until all of them, and the cowards will come behind and they'll still get their share.
And free ranging has also its own share of challenges.
There are so many dangers of free range. We have the zebras, we have the wild beasts, so you find them to be the home of ticks. The big issue we have here is the ECF. The prevalence of ECF is very high.
That's East Coast fever.
Yes.
But for farmers who wouldn't know, how can they tell the cow has ECF?
The first sign is the swelling of lymph nodes. 2, you'll find the animals having difficulties in breathing. 3, the digestion of an animal will be interfered in a way, and the animal, instead of producing a soft dung, it starts producing hard ones like these sheeps. It's one disease that is very easily to be managed, because once you do spraying correctly, you will reduce the prevalence almost to 60 or 70%. Normally we do our spraying after every 7 days. I normally use Triatics from CKL Africa. Triatics we do 40 mils in 20 liters.
That's 40 milliliters of Triatics in 20 liters of water. Just enough for 10 cows. Be sure to spray all over the cow.
From there, they'll be ticks free, fleas free, and flies free. For now, I've come up with the community. We have discussed it. It is even written in paper. We spray the animals on the same day. This also will help us to reduce the ticks and to reduce the ticks resistance, because when I spray my animals today, when my neighbor failed to spray, the ticks from his animals will come to my animals and they'll get their acaricide efficiency is low. And that is when they can develop the resistance. Yes.
Now, deworming, is it important?
Deworming is very important, very important. Here we do our deworming every 3 months. Like now that the pasture is reducing, now we will have to either use Nielsen Plus or Nefluk.
Today, Steve is using Nielsen and is first weighing the cow with the help of a weighing band. Then he divides its weight by 2 and measures the dewormer accordingly. Then it's all about muscle power, especially with these breeds. Did Steve say they were hostile? That's why this wooden structure called crush is so important when deworming.
It's very hard for you to see a crush like this in any other boma. And in fact, when there is vaccination, this is the compound they bring on their animals, because they don't build crashes. And a crash is something that whenever you have it, when you are 3 or 4 people, you can even deworm 300 to 400 cows in a day. Deworming for cows is now the thing I'm taking it here seriously, and I do it here so that they could see that, so that I wouldn't go tell them how important it is to deworm a cow if I'm not doing it.
I'm surprised. The Maasai don't usually keep chicken. Yet Steve and his wife Miriam have 40 chickens, both pure and improved kienyeji's. They keep them for eggs and the meat. But how did the family and the community react? Because this is very unusual.
You know, our community really doesn't value the chickens. The first time we introduced it, it was like umeleta ndege nyumbani.
You brought birds home.
You brought birds home. All those sort of things.
Yes.
But my dad took it very positively. And he says that you can do it and you can always do more. This is also a very good business. It's the fastest business. So many people are coming here. It's either they borrow the eggs or some even buy.
But there's even a more surprising reason behind Steve's choice.
Our cows roam. They go look for pasture, then in the evening they come back.
They come back.
We spray them after every 7 days. But because our animals, they meet with the wildlife, the tick prevalence becomes so high in this area. So the 7 days, you'll see that it is a little bit time and the animals will be again having ticks during the week.
Okay.
It's not that the acaricides don't work, they work, but the area is populated with the wild animals.
Okay.
Even if you sprayed 2 to 3 days, you'll start seeing ticks in an animal. In that day, the chickens will always be on the herd. Instead of us doing the hand picking, now these are the people who are doing for us the hand picking. They know, and the animals are already friendly to them. So they don't even run away. In fact, they love when they see chickens around them. You see him relaxed, waiting for the ticks to be picked out. So the only tick this one will take, it's the one they can see. Spraying again, it's very necessary.
Okay, they just help, they aid.
Yes.
Where did you get to learn all this?
I'm a vet. I knew that there is a good relationship between the chickens and the cows. The pure kienyeji one are known for that roaming. And what the pure kienyeji does, this one they follow. If today she passed across while the pure kienyeji is picking the ticks from the animals, they'll also realize that there's something that is edible on the skin of the cow.
How do you manage your chicken?
The first thing I do in the morning,
Yes.
I let them roam inside the cattle herd. After they did their part, each time I pass here or Miriam passes here, you'll see them following. That tells you they have already done their job and now they want something to supplement what they have already fed on.
All right.
So by that time, we come up with the feeds. There used to be a time that when you come here, you can't even stand because of the smell. That is when I introduced the Diamond V. Diamond V, it's a metabolized yeast. And when you feed your chicken Diamond V properly, it will reduce the gases in the waste. So that ammonium gas that whenever you go there, you feel that you are tight.
You can't breathe.
You can't breathe. So when we introduce Diamond V to our chickens, that smell is no longer there. The chicks live freely. Number two, Diamond V also increase the production. When you give Diamond V properly, they will pay you back by production of eggs. Almost all of them are now laying.
Steve mixes 2 tablespoons of Diamond V into 4 kilograms of chicken feed. That's enough for his 40 chicken per day. So whose idea was this? To have the chickens have a pen that is enclosed? Whose idea was this? Was it Miriam's or you, Stephen?
This was Miriam's idea.
Why did you think of this?
Okay, I did this because I needed them to remain here to avoid destroying my garden kitchen. And also, you know, when it moves around,
yes,
they get ill. So if they remain here, it reduces the chances of getting diseases from outside.
Kitchen garden destroyed by the chicken? Totally unacceptable for a makeover expert, Caris. He's immediately on the job with the help of Steve. They both want this family here to have fresh vegetables.
So, Caro, what has impressed you most about our farmer?
It's the way he's incorporated traditional know-how and modern knowledge. Yes.
I think it's also impressive that the fact that he's a farmer and also an expert.
That's quite interesting, don't you think?
And there'll be more about our farmer right after the break. Welcome back.
to Shamba Shape Up. We are in Oloosirkon in Rongai, and we're with Stephen Ole Suntai, our expert farmer.
We have learned about disease control and nutrition for the beef and chicken.
We are now going to learn how to eat and cook better for Steve's family.
Tony, I am hunger itself.
Yeah, you look like hunger itself. But you know what? We've got some water and some bread.
Bread! Bread?
Talking of food, our expert Angela Njenga from the Ministry of Health, which is supported by Nutrition International, will give us advice on how to eat better. Because in Kenya, there are all forms of malnutrition. We lack iron and vitamin A. We have underweight people and we have obesity. Diseases like diabetes, hypertension, or even cancer are on the rise. So, what's happened? And how does it compare to what Steve ate when he was a child?
When you come from herding, the first thing you're given, it used to be cholesterol. Mom milked the cow and you're giving those milks while they are very warm, just from the cow. By that time, we couldn't have any issues like heartburn, that discomfort from the stomach. But when I compare with this life for now, there are some foods that when you eat, you start developing some acids, heartburn, ulcers, all the sort of things. The first generation, however much we used to eat poorly, but the disease prevalence was too low.
It was too low.
Maybe because we had maybe a strong immunity, because just taking milk from the cow, that means the milk are very strong. We as Maasais, we didn't even have something like tea. The sugars, no, it was a life of its own.
They used plenty of indigenous foods and mostly they were organic in nature. However, nowadays there is the aspect of using foods that are not organic in nature, now predisposing us to various conditions, among them cancer and the like. We have high prevalence of diabetes, hypertension, because most people, we prefer taking tea that has added sugar. Instead of added sugar, you can replace with honey. And also, let's try avoid processed foods such as bacon, sausages. Also avoid margarine and solid fats because they'll all predispose us to non-communicable diseases.
Why do we have so many cases of maybe malnutrition? Children having stunted growth and all that.
It's true that we have high prevalence of malnutrition, and this is attributed because of no proper dietary diversification. Then we also have iron deficiency anemia because some of the children are not fed with iron-rich foods.
Aha! So now we know that we are eating wrong. But is Miriam feeding her family right? What do you feed your children? Because you have small babies.
The 6-month child, I feed nuts, bananas, milk, and sweet potatoes.
And sweet potatoes. What do you feed the elder people?
Okay, I feed ugali, milk, rice, chapati.
You don't give them meat?
Githeri.
And githeri?
Yeah.
Of course, meat for the Maasais. Not nearly enough for Nutrition International. They recommend diversifying what we eat. And for children, they recommend a diet made of 7 groups of food. Wow, 7 groups. So, we have grains and starchy foods such as maize, wheat, and yams. Legumes like dried beans, ndengu, plus all types of nuts and seeds. Dairy products like milk, mala, and cheese. Eggs. Flesh foods like meat, fish, and poultry. Vitamin A-rich fruits and vegetables like sukuma wiki, spinach, carrots, and orange-fleshed sweet potatoes. And lastly, other fruits and vegetables like bananas, fresh peas, and tomatoes. My, that's a lot to eat.
So we encourage mothers to diversify such that they have 4 of the 7 food groups for good development of the children. A good example of food that a child can be fed on is probably ugali, onions and tomatoes. Use green leafy vegetable as a good source of iron.
Maybe sukuma wiki?
Yes,
Okay,
or spinach. And we have the 4, which could be liver or even meat the more colors we consume from the fruits and the vegetables, the more nutrients we get. So we recommend that we consume different fruits and vegetables with different variety of colors.
So, Miriam, do you think this is something you'd want to practice
Yes.
and incorporate into your day-to-day feeding of your family?
Sure.
All right. And Stephen,
Yes.
is your mindset now prepared to maybe try out more of managu, more of the orange flesh sweet potato?
Yes, I've heard they have a lot of advantages in our bodies, and we can't wait to start in a new program.
All right. Vegetables, vegetables, and more vegetables. Speaking of which, let's see what Caris has been up to.
We are planting now the sukuma and spinach here. This is a kitchen garden whereby you can just get a sack, you pour soil and manure and also some water.
Then you just place the sukuma wiki
The
seedlings.
sukuma wiki and also spinach. Then afterwards, Miriam, you can just be watering like maybe in the morning.
And now we have it all penned up. No more chicken spoiling your sukuma wiki.
Yeah.
So now our meals will all have the sukuma wiki.
Sukuma wiki.
You have no excuse
Yeah,
now.
I have no excuse.
All right.
Welcome to the Shamba Shape Up Farming News for Kenya, where we give you the weather for the next week and farming tips. In the coming week, we expect very little rain across most parts of Kenya. Northern, northeastern, and lower eastern Kenya are expected to have little rain of less than 5 millimeters. This includes Marsabit, Isiolo, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, and Tana River, stretching to include Kitui, Makueni, Taita Taveta, and Kajiado. However, the northwestern Turkana may have a little bit higher rainfall of between 5 to 50 millimeters. The coastal region also expect a little of rain of between 5 and 15 millimeters. This includes Lamu, Kilifi, Mombasa, and Kwale. The majority of central Kenya to the east expect less than 15 millimeters of rain, that is, areas of Meru and Tharaka, while moving west, Nyeri, Embu, Kirinyaga, and Murang'a expect 5 to 15 millimeters of rain. The same goes for Nairobi, Kiambu, Machakos, and Laikipia. Central Rift and South Rift Valley, Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu, Nakuru, Kericho, Bomet, and Narok expect rains of 5 to 50 millimeters. Western and Nyanza regions also expect rains of between 25 millimeters and 75 millimeters. Counties included are Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega, Siaya, Vihiga, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, and Nyamira. The iShamba tip for the week. A lot of farm produce goes to waste because of poor storage. During this time, prepare on how to store your produce, maize and beans especially after harvest. This includes sufficient drying, repairing, and cleaning your store. For more information on how to prepare for harvesting and storage of your produce, call the number 0711 082 606 or SMS to 21606. See you next week on the Shamba Shape Up Farming News.
Miriam and Stephen, how are you doing?
Fine.
We have a guest for you here. Are you interested in seeing what she has brought for you?
Yes.
Good. Shall we go to the house?
Yes.
All right. There is clean eating, but there is also clean cooking. Most Kenyans use firewood or charcoal to cook. That's far from clean. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for your health. And if all that wasn't bad enough, it is expensive. Miriam, have you ever cooked with firewood before?
Yes.
How was the experience?
It's stressful.
Stressful?
Yeah.
In which way?
It produces a lot of smoke.
It's also laborers because you still have to go look after the firewood, fetch them and come with them here. So it contains a lot of labor.
So you started with firewood.
Yeah.
Then you graduated
Yes.
to what?
To charcoal.
Charcoal.
Yeah.
How much is it now per bucket or per sack?
We have like a small bucket which goes for 100 shillings
And for how long are you going to use that bucket for?
a day.
So you decided that you'll upgrade again and you went to
Gas.
brief experience. How much is gas now?
It's also expensive
Yes.
because you need to refill it.
Uh-huh.
And maybe after you refill it, maybe it will only take a month or even less than a month.
So now, Nemo, are you going to cook for us today?
Yes. Yes.
What are we going to prepare today?
We are going to be preparing madondo with the yellow beans. Yeah, we'll enjoy that for lunch.
Gas is very affordable for light foods like sukuma wiki. However, when it comes to heavy foods like beans, there's now a better option, an electric pressure cooker. Using gas and electricity together like this can clean up your whole kitchen and save you lots of time and money.
Clean cooking is very important because it saves the environment, one, and it's a very fast way of preparing your meals, and it's also a way you're able to save money while you're preparing your daily meals. On our health, using firewood is very dangerous because you see you inhale a lot of the smoke, and even using firewood, it creates a lot of dirt because of the ash. Yeah? With a pressure cooker, it saves you a lot in terms of money, time, and energy used when preparing your meals. You take a lot of time going to fetch the firewood, going to look for charcoal. You'll also save time in preparing the meals.
Fast it is! With charcoal or firewood, githeri or beans would normally cook in 2.5 hours. But with a pressure cooker, it's done in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
How does it save money?
It cooks the food faster than other modes of fire. When you use charcoal, you said you use a bucket at 100 shillings, right?
Yes.
So when you probably make beans or githeri, you might need to use 2 buckets of charcoal, and the pressure cooker will probably spend between 7 shillings and 10 shillings. So you see you're saving almost 90 shillings per meal.
I like it because it's economically friendly. So I'm sure you will get good benefit with it.
Aha.
Yes.
"40 minutes later, the beans are ready." Caro was so hungry, but I'm the one who gets to eat. This one is made from firewood,
It's very sweet.
better than the one you made from the firewood.
Yeah.
So remember, diversify the foods you eat. The more colors, the better.
And cook clean. No firewood, no charcoal. Protect the environment, your health, and your wallet. Caro, what do you think of the cows?
Wonderful cows and beautiful boma.
And that's it from the boma here in Rongai.
And our expert farmer, Double Steve.
Aha! And we'll see you next time on Shamba Shape Up.